are the Muses,
goddesses of the arts,
and proclaimers of heroes,
and pirates,
and villains,
and allies,
and eels,
and aliens,
and princesses,
and inventors.
Oh, man. And there's a lot of these glimmers out
honestly.
here. Hello, and welcome to the Lorcana Muses podcast. My name is Kimber.
I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Brittany.
And we are so excited to get to talk today about all of the things because now we know all the things.
We do know all of the things now, which is so exciting.
Yeah,
I'm so enchanted to be here today.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
the
my gosh,
puns
the
for me.
enchanted though.
Oh,
I am living because Belle is absolutely my favorite princess. So the fact that she got another enchanted, whoop whoop.
Yes.
And the fact that she's like a steampunk ship queen, like living. I want to cosplay her so badly.
No, I thought the Return of Hercules would be the one and only card that I need in my hands, and then they just kept going and going and going, and now I want the glass slipper. I want Restoring Atlantis. I want
all is found.
I want all is found. Like, and I'm not even a fan of Sapphire nor of Tamatoa, but that Tamatoa card is so pretty.
I stared at it. Like Brittany walked into a room and found me staring at it. It was embarrassing.
It was really funny.
I was just like,
I know what she's looking at too.
It's so pretty, just because it looks like when he turns off the lights and goes all like neon in the movie.
Bioluminescent.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try, but yes.
I live. And I have decided, and this is like I am speaking it into existence. I'm practicing saying it already as a Sapphire player. That 8-drop Tamatoa, I've always called him Tomato when I play him. And so 8-drop is Tomato, 6-drop Tomato. And if I ever for any reason play the 2-drop your baby green friend, the emerald one, he is Tomatillo.
I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's correct.
That is correct.
Like that is now canon. I would like to enter that into the hallowed halls of Lorcana canon. Like we can have all this beautiful lore about these characters and all the things that Jafar is doing, and then over here I just have my little tomato garden.
Speaking of all the things Jafar is doing,
yes,
his enchanted is crazy.
It's so gorgeous. I love the depth of color that's in the art.
Yes.
And I'm just like, if this is the enchanted for this set and it's not even his set, like can you imagine what's happening with his own set, right? Because I'm assuming that there's going to be an enchanted Jafar in the Reign of Jafar set. I don't know if that's a good assumption, but like it would make sense, right?
Yeah, they've shown they're happy to do multiples of characters.
Yeah.
I just love that it's showing that he's slowly starting to change Archazia's island to his illusion, and it has just all the sand elements and the cobra. I'm so excited.
Oh yeah, no, just the transition of it.
Yeah,
I think is fantastic. I'm also like, is Archazia's island already an illusion? Is he already in control? I've been thinking that since that card got revealed. I was like, are we already in the Reign of Jafar? Is the whole island an illusion?
Yeah, I have a theory about Jafar.
Tell us.
And I'm really hoping it's untrue, because it's a theory that would hurt my feelings and my deck and my emotional well-being. And I noticed that there is a common ability among several of the Aladdin themed cards to deal with items, because if you go back and you look at the Floodborn Aladdin, that is the steel card that everyone was running with Bucky, he discards an item when he quests.
Yeah.
And I have feelings about him that are less than happy. And Jafar, this set, he's messing with your items. and I don't like it. But also, it tracks both like thematically with Aladdin and with what the cards have done in the past. And so we got a lot of really beautiful, lovely, nice items. I'm a very happy item girly. And I don't feel like I'm gonna get to be happy for too long. That's the theory.
I think the reign of items will end with the reign of Jafar.
It might.
And I'm not sad about that.
I am not either. Sorry.
I don't play colors that have item destruction, so I really need that to not be a thing.
Yeah, no, I put in Find 'em and Flatten 'em for one of my song slots now. Yeah, because I only run, or I'm gonna plan to run, I think, the Glass Slipper in some of my Steel Song decks. But that's only 2.
I just built a deck, and it was inspired by a meme I saw that was Oops All Sapphire, kind of off the Captain Crunch Oops All Berries. And so I made Oops All Items.
Ew.
And it runs 26 items.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And I put in the queen, the 3-drop queen, where she can get you an item and play it for free if it's less than 3. And then I put in Raya, so she can do it twice.
Oh, okay. Fun.
Yeah.
That sure is a thing.
I don't know if it'll work, but I certainly will try.
I love that for you. Love that journey. Oh, goodness.
That's a whole lot.
That is a whole lot. Well, speaking of the lore of Jafar and the reign of Jafar, that's kind of what we wanted to focus on our episode today, was all the lore that was dropped with these cards. Because you wouldn't think much by some of just the flavor text that we really had to dig for it. But there is lore. We're also getting lore cards now along with puzzle cards in the packs, which I am so stoked for. So we will reveal those starting next Friday as they drop and the set drops. But even just last Friday before League, I was talking to Daryl actually, and he and I were both like, Hades is a thing. Hades is doing things.
No, he's definitely doing something with something nefarious. Obviously, it's Hades. But what that is could be many things, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking that it could just be generic Hades flavor text, or it could be representative of future big badness.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping it's future big badness. It seems like Pain and Panic are really trying to get something going with these arrows. We've kind of pointed out that those owls in the background of some of those Hades and Pain and Panic cards are kind of nefarious looking. They're kind of evil looking. So is there a part of it, Archasia's Island, that is for the villains? And I'm like thinking villain land, like in Disneyland. It's just where they all live. No. But then I'm like, I started looking back at some of the other Hades cards, and we go back to that set 4 one where he's playing chess, right? Or it looks like he's playing chess, and he's talking about how, oh yes, when Ursula's doing her thing in the midst of all the drama and the confusion is when my thing starts. Oh, I wonder if he's been doing a lot of things behind the scenes that we really haven't picked up on. And I know in set 5, we saw one of his glimmers fighting Hercules and saying like, hey, if I have to get banished back to the Book of Lorcana, like you do too. And I pointed out, like, I feel like with Ursula, she worked with her glimmers until one of them backstabbed her. And I don't think Hades would work with his glimmers. I think he's like, it's me and I'm the only one.
I don't think he trusts anyone.
No.
So I don't think he would trust even his own glimmers, because he knows not to trust himself, basically.
Yeah. I think absolutely he would be like, nope, my way. It's got to be just me.
I thought something that was interesting too with the Hades from last set, the Amethyst one, is I started realizing that some of the cards in the flavor text have some bold words.
Yeah.
Especially around Jafar. And Hades, he has with the amethyst card, the flavor text is, you could say I'm big on the catch, and catch is in bold.
Yep.
Not so much on the release. The release is bold. And I'm just like, what are you doing?
What is he catching? Who is he catching?
Who isn't he catching?
And who's to say that Glimmer, or that one particular Hades who's going back to the underworld and kind of like manipulating a lot of the souls in the underworld, is the Hades like doing things. And so maybe he's pulling some people up in the underworld to help him. That would be fun if we saw like canonically gone Glimmers maybe as underworld people. I don't know.
Ooh.
Maybe that's a little too spooky for a Disney game.
I mean, the cursed merfolk look real funky.
Yeah, they do. They're scary.
I think we could go there.
Love the merfolk.
Yeah, like we could get like underworld cells. I play that on turn 2 after my cursed merfolk, and then my army of the undead. Like that might be a little dark. Yeah. We see.
I'm loving the art, and I'm loving this like looking through how Archazia's island is working with each individual Glimmer and what their like role on the island is. I love that Peppa seems to have found like a calming place where her bad mood is like lifting. I just love, like, you see the dark clouds and then you see like the ray of sunshine like going into the card. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, I really loved that. And you could see that the wind was still whipping her hair, but it must have been a nice breeze because it's on the island.
Yeah.
So like that amber card is gorgeous. I really liked how the Mariano Guzman one, his is talking about like the puzzles on the island. So the puzzles of the heart are trickier than anything Archazia could come up with. So it's talking about like, yes, we were talking about puzzles and games on the Archazia's island, but then it touched on how, Mariano is the suitor. And so like all the things that he's dealing with are because, he's very romantic, at least he tries to be.
He's
right?
so love struck. It's so funny.
So I love that. It's playing off of both the story and Archazia's island as a whole.
Yeah, no, there's some fun stuff here. I think Reign of Jafar is going to feel very similarly to Ursula's Return, where we see a lot more maybe like sand and glimmers that are what are they called, illusions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to then getting, I don't think and this is something Daryl said too, is I don't think we'll get a celebration right away after Reign of Jafar like we did with Shimmering Skies. I think it'll like go right next into the big bad, and I wonder if that's kind of where we pause for a moment and we get the Fabled set, which is set 9.
Yeah, I think it's or like we go back into a storybook. Like maybe that's part of what
that's where I'm
like Jafar sends everyone into the storybook or something.
Ooh,
like somehow
that's some Once Upon a Time stuff.
It goes back to my theory where somehow I think we learn the origin of Lorcana, how it came to be, and like why it's all kind of starting to mess up now, or seems to mess up now. So which would be fun. I think that'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
So
I like that. I mean, that's such good storytelling. Just like, we're gonna leave you on this big dramatic cliffhanger.
Yeah.
That's such a Disney move.
It's time for some like flavor. Like, it's just like, excuse me?
Yeah. No,
How dare
I
you?
love that. I'm also hoping that, I mean, with Archazia's Island, we have, the Illumineers are featured so much more in this again. Like there's flavor text that's connecting them back into the cards. Like the amber coil has Martine smiled as the coil snapped into place and he felt a surge of healing energy.
Yeah.
And so like each of those like reconnects back to the story of Lorcana as a whole. And so I'm hoping that this is just going to have us have more and more of those original characters. I mean, I love all the Disney characters and I love that we're getting new ones like Toby and things like that. But I really want to see, the original characters as well. I think now that we're far enough in, it won't be shocking to have them on a card.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I think
I understood right away not having them.
Yeah, I think I'm hoping it kind of starts leading into us discovering that there are other Illumineers out there besides the 3 that we knew. Because Archazia herself is an Illumineer, like an older one. Who teaches them about dual inks. So I'm hoping maybe with new mechanics and new things that are brought to the game, we'll find other Illumineers out there.
I would love that.
That'd be fun. I would love to explore more of the world of Lorcana.
I'm hoping that the lore that we see on the cards and the set opens will help us with that too.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I have like such a dilemma when I'm going to be opening boxes on Friday. Is do I look at the lore and make sure I try to grab all the lore pieces together first, or am I putting the puzzles together first? Because we're not getting one, we're getting 2 puzzles.
We're getting 2 puzzles. Yeah.
How exciting! I mean, I'm also frustrated because I'm a 4x4 binder, but we're not going to talk about that. I was like, perfect, 2. I can put 1 in the beginning and 1 at the end of the set, so then that marks the close of that set.
And then it was 3x3.
And then it was a 3x3, yeah.
It's like how we just got all of our cards, we did the pre-set release cleanse and organization of our system, and that's everything's by color and it's beautiful, and we just looked at each other what do we do with Dual Ink? What do we do?
Yeah, we just ordered because we do mini binders, right, for quote unquote our meta binders, because we pick the cards that we think would be the most playable in each ink, even if we're not playing all of those inks. We haven't played Emerald in a hot minute. We haven't played but it's one of those things well, now that we need another binder, so we'll need a 7th binder.
Yeah.
We're just gonna pick 1 for those dual ink cards for now, because it's gonna be difficult to choose which meta binder to put those cards in. So we're just going to put them all in their own. So we ended up getting a black binder that's representing the dual inks. I wanted to find a rainbow one, but I couldn't find one that matched sizing wise to the other one. So it wasn't
all the colors or none of them.
Yeah, I wanted that. So I'm probably gonna get a rainbow sticker.
I do the duality. A black binder for all your multicolor colors. Yeah. That's so fun.
Yeah. No, I was I wanted to find one that was rainbow, but I couldn't find one that was quality enough to do that with. I still have to get new binders for play sets of cards for everything that's not considered meta, because we have sets 1 through 3 in one, sets 4, 5, and 6 in another one, and so I need to get one of each, one for foils and one for rares and above, and I need to do that for now 7, 8, 9, because only 3 fit in each binder for how we organize.
Yeah.
Yay, that's another expense.
All right. It's a pretty expense.
No, it is. It's just funny how this one hobby can add up so quickly.
Yeah. No, you have to manage it, I think. I have room in my binder because I started a new binder for not Shimmering Skies, Azurite Sea. So mine goes 2 to a binder. But yeah, I'm very excited. I did order a new type of binder I have tried out for a mini binder, which I liked your idea of sorting your cards by meta cards. So I used to have actual big binders of foils and rares and above for trade, but they were so clunky, they didn't really fit in my backpack very well. So I bought a tiny cute little one that's bright pink, and I do think I'm going to put in all the cards for trade that are foils and unfoils. But that are like people are looking for, because we're gonna know people are always looking for like Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood. Bell Hidden Archer all of a sudden is a hot commodity. I think a lot of a lot of set 1 and set 2, because we've started to get a lot more new players and they don't have access to any of those cards. So having those in then like this little mini binder, that's super cute. And it comes in bright pink, which is so my vibe right now. So my problem is, and Alex called it, he was like, you're gonna want to change all your binders to this, because it is a really nice material and nice quality, and he's so right. So I'm like, okay, but I won't buy them all at once. I'll buy them one at a time. Thankfully right now I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 binders I would need to repair, or not repair, but switch out, which isn't too bad, because I mean, thankfully they're like pretty decent price. I think it was like $26 for a 4x4, like 12 pocket.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Or it's a 4x3, sorry. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm very excited for set 7. I'm excited that right now we are like in that weird period of people who are just trying out jank at our league, so it doesn't feel as competitive. It's been a lot of fun. Friday was just regular league night, and I thought more people would have brought their jank like they did the weekend before, but we kind of had like a mix of both. A lot of people were talking about what decks they want to build, right? And kind of talking through some of those builds and working through what would work, what wouldn't work. So that was kind of neat to see. And then
it was fun talking play lines and just being like, this could lead to this, could lead to this.
A lot of people are excited for that 1-drop bell, and I think that's why Hidden Archers kind of started to get more popular, is now there's an actual shift target for her.
Yeah, no, I have looked at her, but I still don't. I've played her, like I've played her in set 3. Like she was in my main deck in set 3, and I played 4 copies of her. Like I loved her. And then there was just so many answers for her at all times that I just stopped playing her. But I think now that there are more shift targets for her, because you basically could only shift onto Morph with her for a good shift target. Now there's more options available that makes it a more viable card.
Yeah, I mean, having that 3/3 bell on turn 1 because you play Popsicle and then banish Popsicle to put that out sounds so mean, because what on your turn 1, if you're playing against her, can you do to banish her? Because you can't. I have been trying to find an answer.
Play Amethyst and play Befuddle.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
That works, right?
I think it's cost 2 or less.
Is this?
I think so. I don't think.
Oh no! I thought it was strength. Oh, that sucks.
Does it? I'm looking it up now.
I think it's great. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's 2 or less.
Oh,
you were right.
Darn it!
I should have known better. I've never played that card, so I had no idea.
Well, something will come across.
I guess you played the Reckless Felicia.
Yeah, there you go.
You have 3 different Daisy Ducks. Go attack her.
No, I'll just go for my Reckless Felicia. That'll work.
Oh my gosh, guys. Sorry. So I'm looking at cards. Have you looked closely at So Much to Give, the song in Amber? Because I'm just noticing that in the cloud, it's Bolt and Penny like holding each other very warmly, and I like want to die.
No,
I thought it was just clouds. But it's Penny and Bolt.
So Much to Give. And that's an
Amber
it's
beautiful.
Card.
Yeah.
Oh, and you see the owl in the background too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, that is gorgeous.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I didn't notice that before. I just thought they were clouds, but I think when you like zoom into it.
Yeah. No, I just have that.
I also like that the trees are kind of floating there. That's kind of
Yeah. It's funny. I know we've kind of talked about it. The cards all came out in such a flurry, which was good and bad. Like I love that we got a lot of the reveals. And I love that they had a schedule to them. I do wish it was spaced out a little bit better, because I don't think I looked at any of the cards really. I looked at the ones that people are talking about. Like, I've looked at Sapphire Coil, I've looked at Belle, but I was just looking at So Much to Give right now, because we're going through all of the lore stuff, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't even notice that, and that's so pretty. That's an amazing attention to detail.
Yeah, like if you look at the Snow White, Fairest in the Land, the
Yeah.
4-drop inkable 2/2 who quests for 2 can't be challenged. Some of the characters have like glowing crystals in their chest and body, but also their eyes are glowing and they look slightly mechanical. So like I'm like, that is very interesting.
That goes to, if you look at the Elsa and Anna cards, they're fighting mechanical things in the water or in the snow.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if like those are the things that Archazia said they're kind of part of the traps on the island.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if those are traps.
Yeah, both in Elsa Trusted Sister and Elsa Ice Maker. She's like blasting away these mechanical robots.
Yeah, and the steel item training staff.
Yeah.
Like bunch of different, like, they look like little robot dummies.
So fun. But
also, I noticed something that, like, sorry to jump back to it, but the 2-cost Razul, his flavor text is literally more trinkets won't get you any closer to Jafar. What is an item if not a trinket?
I wonder,
I'm dying.
are they like training dummies almost?
I wonder.
Like, I wonder if everybody's training with them and they're supposed to be used against Jafar rather than they themselves being bad guys. Like, maybe our inventor characters made them. Like, I think Maurice actually is working on one of them in one of his new cards.
Yeah, and then maybe they're kind of like because like we see more of the things from like Treasure Planet and more things from like Atlantis. Are they powered similar to the creatures and things like Atlantis? Is that how this island is powered?
I would love that.
Is there a main crystal? Because like we have like the diamond, right? The Devil's Eyes diamond.
Which, like, that enchanted, it's beautiful, and also
I'm
called it
dying. Like, I need that one in my life so badly. But like the Restoring Atlantis card seems really important in this set, right? They made it an enchanted. So is the island similar to that?
Yeah. Oh, I like that. It kind of matches the scroll too, because the scroll lights up and the like blue, and we don't really know what that language is. It kind of looks like the Lost City of Atlantis language, but a little different. It matches, I think it matches the schematics on Alistair's card when he was making that Universal Shift Baymax.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is kind of cool. Oh, I love pulling apart these cards.
So I was also looking at the Restoring the Crown card, right? So this feels like it is so pivotal in the push for the reign of Jafar.
Yeah.
He's like, there's some blue energy toward the center of the card. And so maybe that he's taking the energy from Archazia's island to help surge the Hexwell crown back together. But it also looks like he's might also partially be in like some sort of orb or like half of a sand or hourglass, right? So like there's a bunch of different ways he could be in there, but it looks like the architecture looks like all of the pieces from the Archazia's island that we see in other cards. So I'm thinking he is on the island, but where is he getting this power?
Interesting. Yeah.
Also, this card ties so directly into the card that we revealed that it just like makes my heart so happy.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. The amount of sorcerers we got in this set that are viable.
I know. I'm like, ooh, it's making Seeking the Half Crown such a viable card now.
I know.
We're so close.
So close. Oh goodness. Going back a little bit to last weekend we had our league night, or not our second league night, our theme night. And we finally got to try out the 2v2 style. We were kind of taking inspiration from Magic's two-headed dragon, I think is what it's called.
I think it's two-headed giant.
Or giants. And it was fun. It was very chaotic, but it was fun.
Oh my goodness. Go for it.
I was like, before you dive into yours, I really loved. So we had one player there who didn't have a partner, and I'm never one for like, let's exclude a person just because they showed up and couldn't find a person to play with. And he happened to have 2 decks with him, so I'm like, hey, if you want to follow the rules and pilot both those decks on your own, you can play on your own. And nobody really cared. And then he went on to like go almost undefeated, and just every like team that played against him was like, oh my gosh, no wonder he wins set champs, and no wonder you like watch his brain work, and he's just amazing to learn from. That was so cool, like just to see him with 2 hands, and he's like sitting here trying to like, do both decks. It was so funny.
It was great. It was great.
I
had to give him my tiny hands. Yeah, I had to give him my tiny hands because he needed them to put on his 2 decks so that he could know where his hands. He couldn't hold 2 decks at once, right? So he used the tiny hands to like hold down his hands. And so that was funny because he was using the tiny hands because those they've taken over.
They've taken over. I was able to find a box of them on Amazon for pretty cheap, and I gave them away to anybody who wanted to join our army. So now we have a small army.
I really like the ones that you got. They're all like the same hand. It's really funny because I'm like, everybody's got the same hand. Are they all right hands?
They're all right-handed, so it adds like that extra layer of creepiness when you go up to somebody and you have 2 right hands and you're touching them.
I love this.
Oh, the chaos. But yeah, you guys paired together. How did that go?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was super fun because we synergized 2 pirate decks, and because we were able to play across, like anytime we each had a captain out, it would do the captain abilities, and anytime we had like
Moana
more
was
pirate,
doing work.
yeah, Moana did a lot, and like, so like we had so many characters out. It was really fun. I think there were some things that like both of us didn't have a lot of card draw, so like that limited us.
Yeah,
and, like so there was definitely some limitations to that theming, but it was still super fun. It was also really fun to be like draw, and we drew together, and but we did
like
it like
practiced
dramatically with like motions, and then we like did a sweeping hand motion whenever we would pass, and we passed together, and so it was really dramatic and hilarious at the same time. But we played against some interesting opponents.
It was so funny because you could tell the difference in how the games felt for who brought like their fun jank decks or who like built with a partner, and who was just like, your meta deck and my meta deck will make meta deck supremacy, and like it was just like and like kind of scary because we went from battling against like a Steel Song Blurple situation that was just like doing a lot to like puppy nonsense.
Yeah, no, so it was just like wild swings in how we were playing against different opponents, while we still had this, synergistic pirate deck. And so it was hilarious and frustrating at the same time because we had to vastly change our strategy so quickly,
100%,
while still playing as a team. But that puppy deck was playing with a bounce,
an Emerald Amethyst bounce situation.
Emerald Amethyst bounce situation where she was bouncing things back to our hands, but also then bouncing things like and getting the Maleficent staff stuff, and it was frustrating because we took an early lead and we had control of the board for so long,
And we were just like, oh, this is because we were going to turns. We were just like, no, like this is the game that we are going to get a break. We are going to get to do things that normal people do. Like, I don't know, use the bathroom, get water, like crazy, crazy wild dreams we had. No. 'Twas not to be.
Yeah, no, it was the longest game because they kept doing things where I just had to get like 2 more lore or something. Kimber had gotten to the lore because
you had gotten to 20.
I did get to 20, and then they Pirate's Life us twice. And because they double saying Pirate's Life with their Sing Together with an Ursula Deceiver across teammates. And so they brought me down to 16, and then I had brought out a location, so I got back up to 18, but then they took out the location with the vast amount of little puppy dogs out. And then I couldn't keep something on the board because they kept bouncing it. So I had to find a way to get multiple things on the board that were strong enough that they couldn't bounce them just to get my 2 final lore. And it took forever.
It did.
And we ended up calling, like, they called themselves this first. So I didn't feel as bad about calling them this, but they were like, we're the roaches. We're staying alive.
We won't die.
And it was just like, it was exhausting. It was fun. And it was funny because they were having such a good time with it.
Yes.
But it was exhausting to play, especially after we'd already played against 2 control decks in the round before. And so we had 0 breaks in the entirety of the night at all. And so we were just like, okay, we need to take a breather. As soon as we were done, I was like, I'm tired. I stood up and walked around I was like, I don't care if we're about to start the next round. I need to take a minute.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh.
Love that journey for you both. Mine, so we lost the first round. We went up against that Steel Song and Blurple deck, and it was just mean. She was playing Shanpo, which a bodyguard protects both of your decks, and I was just like, I don't know what to do with this guy. And then I wasn't getting what I needed, and neither was my partner. So we built our strategy was around Jafar in a Whole New World.
Ooh,
which was a lot of fun. So I built an Amethyst Emerald bounce deck with Jafar. I had Ursula Deceiver of All. I had the Muses, and I basically just sang songs. So I was bouncing their hands back and discarding their hands, while my opponent was playing Ruby Steel, and she was just punishing anybody who was left over. Which was a lot of fun. So we worked really hard on building 2 decks that really synergized well with that. A lot of the songs I was able to double sing gave her characters Challenger +3 or Challenger +2. Diablo's a lot of fun in that format because Diablo says each opponent's turn, which meant when each opponent drew a card, I drew 2 cards for turn 1, or for just draw. For just drawing their cards. I was getting 2 cards. So I had a whole hand. And then what hurt us in game 1 too was we weren't able to get Jafar or a Whole New World out. So we lost. And then the following rounds, I was just like, Jafar and Jafar. Oh, here's Jafar again. There's 3 of them. And she's like, Whole New World sing, Whole New World cast. And it was a lot of fun and chaotic because they were like, oh, you both draw 7 cards, which means you both get the 7 cards or the 7 lore. I'm like, yep. Yeah. So
wild. Yeah. But it also gave me a lot to think about for our own tournament.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
As we're hosting our own 2v2 tournament. Now this is gonna be a sealed tournament. So we have a vastly different set of cards that we're going to be using.
Yeah.
But it helped us to see what was working and what wasn't working in the set to help us figure out what rules we're gonna have for the tournament that we are hosting coming up on March 15th.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. I think we kind of agreed on how we want the board state to look, whether it's 2 separate board states or 1 board state altogether. And I think it's more chaotic and fun to do. No, this is our board state. The only thing that's separate is our decks, our hands, and the inkwell.
Inkwell,
That is it. Everything else is the royal
anything you are yours.
Yeah.
Anything that's yours is ours. Yes. We're married.
Comrades.
Until we're not. Boom.
Bam. So
it was really
until
fun
the
playing with a
very
partner,
end.
until
though.
the very end, which I think is going to be really. Alex was saying, we're like, oh well, that doesn't really feel great that you know exactly what your opponent's deck will be if you guys make it to the end. I'm like, but you have to make a deck work to make to the very end. So you both have to strategize in making decks work synergistically to be able to get to the end, but also then how are you going to win once you're at the end and you face your partner? So it's a lot of mind games they kind of have to play with each other and together and separately.
With a brand new set too.
And it's a whole new
Brand new
set.
set.
So they have all these cards to learn. Dual Ink is, yeah, that's the whole thing.
The Ink Geysers are going to be flying.
Yeah. So people seem to be very excited about that idea. I think I was a little nervous when we mentioned like that's how we're going to do top 4 pricing is then like turn into face each other. Like I'm like, I think that's fun, but I don't know if people will think that's not fun or not fair. And everybody that I've talked to is like, no, that sounds so fun. Like that's
No, they
awesome.
liked it. They liked that it was like added the competition
and
strategy level to it. So yeah, no, I'm really excited for that. So we just like March is very full of really big tournaments.
Yes.
Or just big things for Lorcana, right? So in the first weekend we have our Archazia Island hobby release. And then the second weekend we have, or I guess technically this weekend is the first weekend with March 1st, but March 7th, right? We have hobby release, and then March 15th, we have our tournament. And then the following weekend, there's a big 10K in Georgia, I want to say, is where the 10K is.
Yeah, there's also a 1K here in Phoenix where we are.
Yes, there's a 1K in Phoenix where we are. And then the following weekend at the end of March, which is the 28th, is our friends tournament, and we are going to be a part of that as be helping host and cast that event. So we're excited to just be. March is the month of Lorcana for the Muses. And just being like having big growth for tournaments in Arizona is great. We're hoping that we get some people from out of state to come to that tournament. Yeah. I love that this tournament is kind of unique because it is it's at a high school, which allows us to have a little bit extra space and room for different things. It also has access to childcare. So like that is kind of exciting because it allows people to come locally or even if you're coming not locally, but being able to utilize some childcare for at least the Saturday.
Yeah.
If they have interest, they can do Sunday as well. But having that availability is fantastic. I'm hoping that people actually use it so that other organizers realize that this is a good idea.
Yeah,
I will. And don't worry.
It's $25 per child for the day. Lunch will be provided to your kids. It's a professional daycare because it is at a high school. So certified teachers are the ones watching your children. Which is amazing. If you guys are,
I would drop them off and not even go, but I am gonna go. Obviously, I'm so excited.
They're also Purple Shadow Gaming's hosting side events for the thing. So in addition to the main event, there's going to be, I believe, draft and sealed available, and other mini side events. So if any of
Rush for keeps,
Rush for keeps, yes.
If any of our listeners are interested, please look out on our social medias or DM us, and we can send you the information. But that is the State 48 Lorcana Cup, hosted by the Ink Thieves, J&J Gaming Factory, Lilith Gaming, Viper Sleeves, and Purple Shadow Gaming. So.
Yes.
It's going to be so good.
So fun.
Really excited about that. And we're excited to be a part of that as the biggest Lorcana event in Arizona so far.
So far, we're only growing. And by the time that ends, I will be a turtle again and you won't see me all of April. No, I'm just kidding. There goes all of my introverted. So
you're like, I've done all this and now I'm going to take a break.
Yes.
No, but for real, we're definitely going to be doing a big push in March. Now it's just a new set. So that's also part of it. Opening weekend, we have lots of sealed events that we're planning on going to as the Muses just to play. And then the following weekend, we're going to be hosting one of those sealed events. So we'll at least get to have some play before we end up being more on the host and hosting side of things, which we like both sides. I'm excited to see what people are going to bring and watch and be able to cast and see how we do at that, because like that's a new experience for us.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm excited to be able to cast and learn a little bit more about competition. So I've been brushing up on like and I already watched these videos anyways, but paying a little bit more attention to meta talk and deck analysis, and hopefully able to provide you guys with still our flair of like chaos and fun and silliness, but also being serious and talking meta and discussing everything.
But an emphasis on chaos, because I don't think that we can't not bring the chaos.
No,
I mean, it's at a high school.
Our
like
listeners,
everyone is going to be inherently funnier because of the like trauma that will seep into us.
Listen, our listeners have come to expect a certain level of chaos from us. So we have to bring it.
I'm nothing if not happy to deliver.
Speaking of our listeners, we have some listener questions that we would like to go through. First off, always coming in hot with great questions is our friends over at Citizens of Lorcana. What is the origin of ink colors in the lore of Disney Lorcana? We know their names, but exactly what is the source of the ink?
Ooh.
What are our theories?
So I am really thinking that the source of the ink is like the source of story, right? We get deep into the meta mindset of where is the story begin, and like what is the being, what does each of these inks do to like a community, and like I think like, oh, these inks are spawning because we have all these different character traits that are related to these inks, and like the abilities are related to what the characters are. And so like all of the characters of Disney represent these overarching like themes of cunning and daring and all of these things. And so I think that that's where it's coming from. It's just like, it's an explosion, just like the Big Bang, right? Like an explosion of all of these bits and pieces that are going to have like some story elements that are attached to it. Well, that's me.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes with the Ink Geyser. What has caused the Ink Geyser to blow? Where is it from? So yeah, no, I'm with you. I see it.
Okay. All right, great. I was like, this is where I've been thinking for the whole time. It's
no,
like, it's like a big bang. It's like, it's
something.
This is the origin of everything.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I'm just
This is like the messiest throwback.
Love it.
But the Ink Geyser completely reminded me of that old Nintendo Wii game called Epic Mickey.
Yes.
And it's him just with a paintbrush.
Yep.
That's real inky. Real splattery.
I have this entire set has brought me back, and with the dual inks, they look so much like Epic Mickey and Oswald and like their adventures in that world. And I'm like, if they are hinting to that and bringing some of that into it, I would love that, because I used to love those games as a kid.
Yeah. I'm just like, there's a little part of me it's like, I see it. I see it,
Robbie. Our friend Michael would like to know, which card from the new set are you hoping receives the enchanted treatment? Now, we've already gotten all the enchanted, so which one would we have liked to see? I really... Oh, go ahead.
You go.
I really wanted any of the Aristocats to get the enchanted treatment.
Oh.
I really needed like Berlioz, Toulouse, or Marie. I don't even care about O'Malley and Duchess. I mean, I do, but I like the kittens needed to have the treatment.
Yeah. No, I like that idea. I really, really like the Wendy Darling, the art on that Wendy Darling, the 7-cost inkable dual ink amber ruby card. I loved the art on that card, and I thought that would have been an amazingly fantastic enchanted. So that one, but she was only an uncommon, so I was pretty sure that wasn't going to happen. But But yeah, no, that's the one that I wanted, that I was a little disappointed. I mean, I figured it wasn't going to happen, but that was one of my like pipe dream ones.
Yeah. I this is the chaos. This is the chaos in me. I would have loved an enchanted of the Cusco temporary whale.
I love that.
Like,
That's pretty good.
It's just so silly.
That is really silly.
Happy. Like,
that's funny. It would be like doing like the Maui when he's the Maui whale, right?
Yeah, like I don't know. I love that silly, goofy energy.
That's fun. I like that.
It makes me happy.
Choice. Yeah.
That's a good choice. All right. So yeah, some of these questions like we didn't get to last week, so I know that's why that question was there. Because we forgot our listener question section last episode.
We just were so hyped for.
Oh yeah. So somebody asked us, how do we feel about puppy decks? And so we talked about puppy decks a little bit last week. I'm kind of excited to see the chaos that is a puppy deck. I'm hopefully excited to see if it actually has any impact on the meta, if it's actually going to be something that's going to be played like outside of being kind of a silly deck. I think was given a lot of support, but we'll see.
Can I tell you my take on a puppy deck? Because I definitely built one already. I called it Alice Let the Dogs Out, and I included Alice Growing Girl and Alice Savvy Sailor, because I just need you to imagine Puppy Army goes a questing. They give all of their support to like one Rolly or something, and then like boom, 15 attack from little puppy boy. Like, how funny would that be?
That is funny. Like, no, it sounds hilarious.
It's such a meme of a deck. Like, it's so funny.
It's so memey that I just don't know if it's actually going to be viable.
Yeah, you better believe we're going to try for those first 2 weeks while everything is shaken out.
I'm sure.
It's going to be fun.
All right. So if this is from the Ink Hearted. If Ravensburger gave you the power to alter one thing on any card from the new set, what would it be? Wow. Any card, anything. I really liked the Yzma transformed kitten. She's a 2-cost inkable amethyst 2/1. And she has the ability I Win. When this character is banished, if you have more cards in your hand than each opponent, you may return this card to your hand. I wish her stat line was a little different. So I think that if it was more of a I think honestly this card would work better later instead of being a 2-cost. I think it would work better if it was like a 4-cost with like a 3/3 or something. With the same ability, I think it would see a little bit more play. That 2-cost in Amethyst slot is already so heavy. So I think that if she was a different stat line overall, I like her ability. I think it'd just be better like higher up in a set.
Yeah, I agree. I think the one that I was disappointed with was the Troubadour musical narrator. It's the Dual Ink Steel Amber card, 1/3, cost 2 inkable, resist 1, and Singer 4, and it quests for 1. So to me, this just feels like a worse Ursula. That's the same cost. She's also a Singer 4. I believe she's a 1/4, and she doesn't have resist, so I understand like resist does help with some of the attack power early on because it gets around that. But had he been like resist 2 or quest for 2, I think it would have just made it a little bit stronger of a card.
Yeah, I still think people are going to play Ursula over him for sure. Like,
yeah,
I think because the ability to have Ursula run across the board to any 3/3 character, and then heal with Rapunzel for 3 cards. Like,
yeah,
I think that ability is part of the reason why people choose that, having that 4 willpower on that card. I think that sees more play than the resist would see.
Yeah, I don't disagree. So I think, again, I think the 2 resist would have been better, or 2 quests. Then you're playing it in an aggro deck, then I could see that. But right now it doesn't really fit in the control variant or the aggro variant. So
I wish the Sapphire, which I feel like saying I wish in Sapphire is just not even allowed. So I do acknowledge that. When I first read the 4-drop inkable key to creative thinker, I misread it and got stupidly excited because I thought it was how far I'll go on a body. And
okay.
Not quite.
Yeah.
And part of me is kind of just like, oh, that would have been so good. But then also, it's so nice because you can also use that to help you, like, if you're using Oswald or Queen to, like, kind of just, like, play, like, filter cards. But it just, like, my brain just went there immediately. And so every time I look at it, I just feel like this little weird twinge. But that's 100% a me problem, not a card problem.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think the fact that she's warded is what's going to make her playable. If she was not warded, I think she would be removed before she could actually do that ability. But
absolutely.
The fact that she's warded helps around that. Like, obviously there's ways around ward, but like not as many as there are going to be warded characters this set. No, I think that is actually, I think that would probably see the most play in an item heavy deck because of that filtering and
she
ability
might definitely be in my oops all items.
Oh,
but
only a might?
Maybe. I don't know. That's crazy. Anyway,
going kind of on the other spectrum of that, from Citizens Lorcana again, they ask, which card this set do we think is being slept on as far as early talks for being good cards?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I am actually really excited about and this is me just, being I'm excited to try some dual ink cards in general, just because I think that some of them are really great. But I want to try the Devil's Eye Diamond, and I don't think that's in enough decks yet that I've seen lists for. But I'm really excited to try out the I know you're shocked. It's a Ruby card.
No.
And then the Ruby Emerald dual ink queen, and I think her ability is going to hurt. Okay, so the Queen of Hearts, she's a 5-cost uninkable, 2/6. She's a shift 3. And she has the ability, if I lose my temper, whenever another character is played, put a damage counter on them. So that hurts both sides, but in Ruby, there are so many cards that benefit from having damaged characters. And so I think that this would be, I've been really toying with a damage deck with Ruby, and I love this because then I can use like my Donald Duck who quests for more the amount of damage that he has on him, or play the Radigans and be able to utilize a lot of those damage abilities. I'm super excited about that. So that's one that I think that is undervalued right now, but I think it's mostly because it's in Christmas, and that's just undervalued colored combo in general. And I've said that for a while.
Yeah. No, I think those Ruby Emerald decks are going to finally start seeing places again this meta.
Yeah. I missed it.
I'm very excited for you.
But I also love that all 3 of the 3 that are Alice in Wonderland anyway, dual ink Ruby Emerald cards, the Mad Hatter, Tweedledee and Tweedledum and Queen of Hearts, they synergize and play together so well. So that I'm excited about that as well.
Mine is a two-part, mainly because I think the glass slipper is being slept on a little bit. And I totally slept on it for just a second at first too. Then I realized that Hercules counts as a prince. So my big boy goes and hits ya on the shift target. So I have now switched my princess deck to be a prince deck. And I think those play lines are going to be really well. Also, with that, if you put in the new Cinderella for cost, that gets because you're only allowed to have 2 copies of the glass slipper, which is why I think people are like, but the Cinderella brings back the glass slipper back from your discard to your hands, which is really nice. So you play with it, you discard it, then you put out Cinderella, who's an actually great shift target, because let's be honest, turn 1 I'm playing Cinderella and you guys are all doing everything you can to get rid of her before I get to turn to Ink 5 where I can shift her. So the fact that I can shift 1, play like a little mini Hercules, use the glass slipper, discard him, get out my shift target Hercules, and then play 4-drop Cinderella, and then immediately 5-drop Cinderella. We're in this game. And I know that sounds convoluted, but it's really nasty.
But I know how you work. That you're gonna get that to go off, and
yeah.
I'm very excited.
Song continues to be the bane of my existence, is what I'm hearing.
I got so much flack last episode for saying they got no support this set. One of our friends texted me on Thursday and he's like, "Sorry for yelling at you." And I was really upset and like, what you yelled at me? You're mad at me? What did I do? And then he's like, saying that Steel Song has no support, like it hasn't been a menace since set 1, is insane.
Yes, that's fair. I'm saying that as a Ruby player though, like I know that all of my cards are mean. But I don't know. I have very interesting, and I have no idea what I'm playing next set, which I know, shocked, like we have some idea. Like I just don't ever want to play exactly what everybody else is thinking is going to work. So like that's
she's not like the other girls.
I'm not like the other girls, right? I have to be different, right? I'm also just like, I don't know if there's anything from this set that I would really want to put into my Mufasa deck or anything like that if I want to re-alter and try that again. I think maybe the 1-drop card soldiers might be the best option.
I was thinking
because I play so many damaged characters in that deck for healing with Rapunzel, and so like he does well. And I think like his stat line is really great. Even before, so like that would be the one card I think from this set that I would put in.
Dream with me.
All right.
The new uninkable 6-drop legendary Baloo. Characters with 7 attack or more can't be dealt damage.
What other characters does she have that has a 7 or more though?
Here's the thing. What if we had Card Soldier Spear, the beautiful item that gives you more attack if they have damage?
Yeah,
no, I think that Baloo works well in the damage deck I was talking about, like having but I don't think those two decks are separate decks, because like the Mufasa deck only works for certain ways, right? Like, and even though I don't play it like a true Mufasa deck, like I put other besides just characters, it in by and large needs to not have those, other elements like more items like that. Like I need the item I'd have to give me card draw, right? Like that's why I had the items that I was using.
I do think we're gonna see Baloo in some of those burn decks with Maui Shark.
Yeah, I agree. The problem with Baloo is uninkable, and the fact that like I already struggle with that Mufasa deck is the uninkable count. So like that would be like, I'm like, uninkable has to be requirement, right? It has to be in the deck. It can't be a tech card. Like uninkable has to be a requirement for it to work. So that's my thoughts.
That's fair.
All right. I think we have one final from our listeners. Oh, it was just a double. So Melrose Itiru also asked about what cards we wanted for Enchanted's last week. So we answered that question already. But we always love answering our listener questions and want to always have your feedback. So continue to send us those questions, and we'd love to answering them as we talk.
Yes. So super exciting things coming up between our tournaments and other people's tournaments and Archasia's Islands. Archasia's Island drops on March 7th for hobby stores. We are starting a new kind of mini series within our podcast. So every other Friday, starting soon, we will be dropping video along with audio to like interview series. So it's called the Lorcana Muses Presents Call of the Illumineers. Our first two guests are really great girls, women in the industry. Rebecca Quest, Enchanted Kim, you know them, you love them. So we're really excited to share that with you. We're also going to be a part of the Ladies of Lorcana project with our friend Lady Lore / Katie. So look out for her episode drops. If you don't know, March is International Women's Month. March 8th is International Women's Day. So you know that we love to celebrate all women. But since we are a Lorcana focused podcast, we do love our Lorcana females and that's whether you play socially, whether you're a competitor, whether you're here to collect, whatever it is, we see you, we love you. If you want to tell us any of your fun stories about your experiences being a female in the Lorcana realm, then definitely let us know. We'd love to share some of those stories throughout the month of March. But other than that, you can follow us on all of our social medias. We are on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Facebook at the Lorcana Muses, on X at the Lorcana Muses Pod, or email us at the lorcanamuses@gmail.com. Happy questing!
Happy questing!
Happy questing!